Yeah, it's interesting how the map pool, having Nuke in there, has changed things a lot when it comes to the veto. But these are obviously two teams with really deep map pools here. And again, I think this is one of the closer maps that's where it's going to be a bit more unknown as to how things will develop. Does seem we are waiting, though, for the pistol round to kick off. And, of course, with the CT start for NiP, do you think that really is going to influence things? Or do you think it's just going to, it won't really matter?
Sorry, say that again.
The pistol round, do you think it's going to influence things here? Because obviously NiP is going the side NiP run, because they're starting on CT side. Do you think the sides really matter all that much?
I think you saw people on the analysis desk say that sometimes NiP will choose to start on the T side. I think if it was a best of 3, then they probably would have done so. But being a best of 1, they will probably choose the more favored side. When it comes down to the pistols as well, we know NiP have had a lot of problems with those, but it's a difficult one. I mean, how do you get better at pistols? It comes down to shooting people in the head, basically. So we'll see if they can do that. They have the range advantage on the pistol round here as well, but we see that there is one smoke on Fallen. So that's. I mean, I'm curious as to where he chooses to use that. You can throw it down towards connector to help you get into the B bomb site, or put it to, towards connector to get you towards B, or connector on the A side, actually, as well, to cut off the common angle there. Yeah, I think the pistols on the CT side, there are definitely advantages with the range of the USPs, but it's still not easy. I mean, people can get past those channels down the sides of the trains pretty quickly. So we will soon find out if they can do that. There's just one thing being sorted out for one of the teams, I believe, and we should be hopefully underway sooner rather than later.
It's always interesting as well in CSGO, because I feel like a lot of the maps in CSGO that you could say are a bit CT-sided, I feel like in CSGO, in this iteration of Counter-Strike, things always sway much more with the economy. So a map like this, just like, oh, okay, it's a bit CT-sided. But if you start with a poor economy, then you have to make a lot of these choices, economically speaking, which can maybe have you in a spot where maybe you've only got like 2 good chances to win a round, while the other team is building up a lot of money, and if you mess those 2 chances up, then all of a sudden you're 7-0 down, and that's like, well, hang on, what's going on now? So and I think Train can be mapped like that as well. So it's gonna be very interesting. Obviously, Luminosity aren't a team that play particularly static on their CT sides. We already heard on the desk how Yanko is bringing up that they do really like to try to exert alley control, and they try to play quite active with AWPers there. We see Fallen is a guy that will even get the AWP. They'll try to run double AWP setups will Luminosity on the CT side, and you'll see Fallen even like peeking the ramp on B, like these really unsafe peaks. He's going to go for them because he's, as I said, he's pretty godlike with the AWP. It's not really something that a lot of the teams can do, but it does make it, it's more risk-based, and it makes the game more interesting, because NiP are going to be aware of these tendencies. I know for a fact that they're aware of some of the more aggressive tendencies of Luminosity. So Luminosity against NiP have to be a little bit careful, I think, that they don't, give the game up in excess risk-taking.
Okay, so the unpause has come in, and we will get things underway here. Either whoops from the players. So we have Luminosity starting on the T side here on the first map of the first day of the ECS finals. And it seems that they might be headed towards the B bomb site, although could be the ladder room as well. We see most of the NiP players over towards the A site. Looking over towards Ivy at the moment are a few of them. And indeed, it may be the numbers game quickly over towards B here. And only GetRight is here to defend at the moment.
Yeah, so Luminosity slowly making their way down. Let's see if GetRight finds any contact, if he gets any information just yet. No stepping has currently been really made by Luminosity. I don't think anything for GetRight to see. I think maybe he saw a couple of players there, though, so the call has been made, and NiP are rotating a couple men back towards B, and they're playing the middle area of the site here, just really aiming to, their objective is to delay Luminosity to allow their teammates to rotate to defend, and here comes the push.
Right, so they're charging onto the side. We can see some headshots there for the CT side, though. And there's only 2 plays left for Luminosity already. coldzera trying to do what he can. At least a bomb's gone down, so worst case scenario is being ticked off. And now there's only a Fallen remaining for his side. And he's got a Molotov down on the bomb, but there's a lot more ticking to do. Doing what he can. One more plays to find out. GetRight, he hasn't got the health to do this. He's just waiting for Fallen to peek it, but he's got to go for the hero defuse because there's only so much time. Fallen's not picking wide enough. He's looking the wrong way. No, that's a disaster. He only needed one bullet, and Get Right takes him down afterwards.
All right, well, the 1-0, good economy there for NiP to kick things off with, and we already discussed how crucial that's going to be moving forwards. Now, we're going to see a force buy coming in, or rather, actually, not even a force buy from Luminosity. They did get the bomb down, and it's quite interesting, actually, because Luminosity are a team that would be able to run a set piece with a force buy here, but instead, they're just going to get the scout on Fallen and a couple deagles there. Well, 3 deagles, in fact. So let's see what damage they can do. That's more or less the objective for them in this round. So we'll see if they'll be able to have some success there. NiP, of course, are going to be very cognizant of such shenanigans, and will probably be able to avoid them if they're careful. Obviously, they have the utility to do that, but actually, they are starting to run low. Only a couple ATs at this point. So Luminosity might finally sort of having some opportunities here to get some nice shots in there. If NiP are going to be peeking some of these angles, and see Fallen there jumping around, but what will he find?
NiP playing super passive towards B. Just waiting for Luminosity to play their hand. Fallen's looking for the entry. We know he's quite notorious with the scout. Spotting some players there, but no big damage done. pyth's going to get taken down, though, but the numbers will start to lessen here for Luminosity. Cold, last man standing now with the bomb in tow as well. 2 HP, though. That nade is money. Almost. So he's just going to wait for somebody to overextend. But with 4 people, I think NiP will be patient. They won't be too concerned. Although it could be a bit of a worry over towards B with only 1 player there. But you can see they are acting on that, moving, I think it's Get Right into a more aggressive position to cover upper and lower on his own. And there we go. Friberg goes looking for information, gets punished for doing so. So an extra frag here for Cold. 20 seconds left.
I was going to say, NiP, they've done really well here, but all of a sudden, 2 players are dead. Cold is hitting deagle shots, and now all the money is down the drain for NiP. This is a big problem. No. Oh my god. Cold's actually gonna... Okay, he won't get the bomb plant. Get Right finds his way to the bomb site in time. But that was ridiculous. I mean, they had him on 2 HP. They had 4 players left alive. And all of a sudden, they have 2 players left alive, and they're lucky to stop a bomb from going down. That's kind of a disastrous way for the second round to go there for the NiP side, especially considering they really needed that round to be clean, because the AKs can come out more or less immediately from Luminosity if they'd gotten the bomb down. So it's interesting, actually, that they decided to go with such a heavy investment, because normally you see there's a full save in that round, then they have AKs now, but because they've got Scout and some Deagles, now we've got some Deagles again. So very strange economic choices here, and I'm sure the desk will talk about that later.
All right, so this is quite interesting indeed. Looks like they want to do some more damage to the economy of NiP. We're back on the rifles now before they go into their buy. If they can keep NiP low and then break them on the buy, then they have a good opportunity to rack up some rounds here. But first, we'll see what they can do. Setting up for the double peek, it seems. Taco with the 1 deek here, and pyth's got to be careful. Again, there are 2 people to peek him, and he may not even realize that yet. Smoking off the area, but there's still a minute for Luminosity to play with. The bomb starting to move a little bit. This could turn into an A split, actually. We'll see. Fallen shoulder peeking towards the B bomb site, waiting for somebody to overextend. He's down to Glock at the moment, so maybe looking for an AWP sooner rather than later. 45 seconds left, and Luminosity seems they still want to have another player peek and get a punish in. If they got a 5v3 situation, that would be pretty nice going forward. Taco first to go down for the Brazilians.
And all these peeks against the Deagle, every time you peek against one of these players, there is risk that you just lose your head and you die straight away. That is very scary, and you can see that, I think, that Forrest especially counting his lucky stars previously, and oh wow, he's actually going to be able to find 2 players there. Very nicely done, and that's going to be the round taken somewhat cleanly for NiP. But again, got to raise question to the fact that Luminosity had that so much investment in the second round when they could have just force bought if they're going to save kind of in that last round. So kind of weird economic choices, but either way, we're at this point where 2 AWPs come out. That perhaps that was the objective. That's why they did it in that way. was for that double AWP setup on the T side straight away. And that's very interesting because you don't see a lot of teams doing that.
Yeah, they're literally going for the big guns immediately. I was wondering if we're going to see 4 later on. But also a quick note, Fallen took a bit of a risk there. He chose to show the bomb over towards B and then rotate in towards A, trying to pull the CTs away. It didn't work, but I like the idea over there again with a little invested per player. So that was quite cool. But indeed, now the problem is for Luminosity that they need to get into peaking positions with these 2 AWPs here, and Forest has one of the main areas, being main itself. Nobody peeking towards Ivy either, so I'm quite curious as to how Luminosity plan to execute. And look at that. False sense of security, putting the smoke down there with 2 players in front of it. And now Fallen is going for the rudimentary style peek here. Can he get into the angle fast enough? Indeed he can. Down goes Forest. Minutes on the clock, lots of time for Luminosity to play.
Yeah. I mean, that was the trap to be sprung, but it was Fallen to spring it on NiP instead. Very nice work from him. And that's going to be problematic now for NiP as they've lost that man. That was the game plan for Luminosity, but equally, it can be quite difficult, quite awkward at times to push aggressively with AWPs quickly into a bomb site. But that said, it is Fallen on the AWP, one of the best dynamic AWPers in the world, and now we're going to see a movement from Luminosity starting to gather towards the B side of the map right now to go for that B bomb site. And NiP, they don't really, they're none the wiser. They have Get Right very defensively positioned here. This should be easy for Luminosity to just waltz right in there.
Yeah, so Get Right trying to go for the spray, but he's got 4 people coming in his direction. That's the B bomb site abandoned now by the CTs. And with Pick going down, this might have to be a safe hit for NiP. 5 versus 3 situation. And indeed, we've got players moving towards Ivy there, and Get Right might try to get an idea as to where Luminosity are moving, some sound cues. But NiP, even with the players deep in towards the A bomb site, they chose to put the numbers over towards A as opposed to B, and basically were forced to abandon it. So it pays off for Luminosity. Very nice play there.
Yeah, I think NiP just decided to do that classic play. All right, we don't know where you're going, don't have the men to find out. Let's just gamble on one bomb site. And A is the site that does make the most sense in that case. So NiP will play it somewhat economically, but we can see that the pressure that was being put on them in the previous rounds by the Deagle purchases of Luminosity has really paid off for them. And that's going to give them essentially a very good position to control the match from. All they have to do now is just win that one round, and NiP are really going to be crippled, and then Luminosity can get that string of rounds going. And that's where things can really start to get interesting as one of these teams pulls ahead. But NiP, of course, can stop that from happening, but they're going to have to do so with 5 rifles against 2 AWPs. So that's going to be quite curious. Well, you know, there's some choices there to make. Do they just play it super passively? Against AWPs, you kind of have to take closer or forward positions to punish the AWPers. So, well, we might see a fast play here from Luminosity.
And indeed so, at least into the yard area. And again, Fallen holding the passive angle, because if he takes the more aggressive one, well, actually, maybe the smoke is blocking him, but the CTs do get to that angle first. Again, only one person over towards the bomb site, and Taco is charging through it. That's going to pull a rotation here. All the CTs streaming back from A as well, but Luminosity aren't committed just yet. Despite Taco's charge, he is absolutely wrecking everybody who dares come anywhere near B, and that's going to be enough of an opening for his team to push forward.
This is an awkward spot for NiP because they have to do something. I mean, they can't just keep saving and saving and saving. I mean, it is always going to be an option, but let's see what they decide to do. They're going to be up against 2 AWPs here. They got no grenades, and that's the problem. Cold taking an easy shot there, long range down those channels. There's very deadly channels on the B bomb site, and you can see NiP are going to think twice about it now as they at least steal away an AK. But there is a lot of players in hot pursuit, and that's going to be another frag coming in for the Luminosity side as NiP are now just down to 1-man Forest, trying to hold on to his rifle. And Luminosity, they know how bad the economy is for NiP. They're happy to sacrifice men here. As long as they can keep both AWPs alive, they're more than happy to do this. And maybe there's risk. Forest, can he finish off coldzera? Will he even try to go for it? Cole's actually going to be pushing the angle slightly, just passively holding it. Oh, there you go. Cole will take down Forest in the end.
In the face.
And NiP are down to a poor economy as Luminosity are in a really good position right now. This is very scary on the CT side, as the CT side start for the Swedes.
Yeah, especially as there's money in the bank now for Luminosity, but it moves it into a more interesting situation once the buy comes back in for NiP, because with 2 AWPs on the map, if NiP manage to win the round after this one, then maybe they can steal some away, but then we should see more coming out from the Brazilians. But before we get there, it is an eco round from NiP. We've got a few pistols here and there, a few bits and bobs, not much to really speak of. Fallen starting as he means to go on, not getting the second flick there, and he will get taken down. We'll see if Luminosity can protect that AWP from being picked up. have got some CTs moving towards it very slowly indeed. Taco harassing elsewhere, and indeed pyth's going to try and go for it. The AWP, that is. He'll get taken down by FNX, and there goes Xizt as well. So the clear out is done, the second AWP is collected, and NiP will be back on the buy.
Yeah, and it's going to be all their money spent in this round as well, so they've got to get something done with it. There's no real other option for them to even think about. Of course, you know, they're going to be able to get NiP into the hands of pyth now, so that's going to be an interesting dynamic because they're up against two AWPers, and that can be pretty worrying at the moment because pyth, I mean, he's likely not going to want to play too passively. He's probably going to be taking some of these angles, as we see here from the connector area. He could take that angle, he gets there before the tease does, but he's actually going to go for a deeper one here. And well, there you go. Cole's going to already be opening things up there with a fast push, and there's the other AWP from Fallen. So now pyth has a lot of work to do with that AWP, and can he do it? I mean, Taco's just...
Everyone's dead, Dan.
What's going on right now?
Everyone appears to have died on the NiP side. Not a single kill for the Ninjas. And again, it's a fast play coming out from Luminosity. And I thought pyth was going to stop in connector because, again, he gets there faster than the T's do. So he can post up on that angle towards main. But he tries to move into another position. He goes up on top of the train stoppers there. So if he gets pre-fired, he probably gets legged rather than shot in the chest. But then there's like the top alley. There's a fast pick. Forrest is over towards E-Box on his own. Fast pick there as well. No answer from NiP. Complete wipe out there. And now they are back on the eco. Luminosity just continue to build cash here as well.
Yeah, their money's getting really out of control, and that did look like they were up against an eco round. Now it's an eco round, and well, you might even probably see NiP doing a bit better than that. Odds are, at least. Either way,
it's hard to do worse.
Luminosity, I mean, so far they've shown that they can just move outside, but nice little kill and a dink as well to boot there for pyth, but can his teammates capitalize anyway? Looks like not, as we have Cold in position, easily taking down both assailants, and here's an extra one as well, and that's going to go the way of Taco. So 5-3, and Luminosity continue to build money, score, momentum in all senses. What do NiP have to show for themselves?
Yeah, if this continues, I do wonder if there's going to be a pause coming in for NiP, just to have a quick discussion and talk about what NiP are doing. And indeed, there is a pause coming in, so we'll try and find... No, there isn't a pause. There was a pause, but then there was an unpause, so never mind. There's no buy yet from NiP, so I'm assuming they want to pause the game, otherwise they would have bought, because there are 3 seconds left, so we'll see. Okay, there is the pause coming in. So yeah, I think this is a tactical pause from NiP. I think it's a smart one because they're losing players so quickly on the CT side. I think it's worth having a discussion. What are Luminosity doing? Because they're doing similar stuff. When they go for that fast play towards A, it looks similar. They're getting into that left channel from T main very quickly indeed. They're getting the picks there as well. And NiP aren't in a position to go for trade frags in those situations. And again, they're not really using the early peek from connector into main. I'm sure there's a reason for that, but it's leaving them exposed perhaps. Again, with Forrest going down towards electric box and things like that, they just don't have any answer for any of the picks coming in from Luminosity.
Yeah, that outside play on T main is really, I think, the crux of the issue, as you said. Like, you can't really allow the T's to get out so easily just with those aggressive positions, because if you allow that for players like Cold, you know, with an AWP, which is what happened in the previous round, he's going to find some crazy angles. He's going to kill that guy on alley. He's going to have the opportunity to do even yet more damage. And the problem is that it just damages the integrity of your kind of defensive lines, having somebody down that deep so early on before you've established control. So obviously NiP, they can't really be missing the shots they'd be missing, but on top of that, I think they can adjust utility in their setup a little bit. I don't think it's something that's it's going to be hard to overcome. What's going to be difficult to be overcome is the fact that that's only really the first play we've seen from Luminosity. Luminosity, they've been doing great success with that fast outside stuff. What about when they start to harass alley and start combining it with some later round play towards T main and harassment towards B? There's so much that they can still go to, that for NiP to have to take a timeout at this point just to deal with that, just to deal with the fact that they are so easily able to get outside really with 2 AWPs. That's definitely worrying.
So NiP have gone for the buy. We'll see what they've bought. very shortly, and I assume the unpause is coming in. But the money on Luminosity is completely absurd. Taco's got 14k, coldzera's got just shy of 14k, Fallen on 11k. They've got bags of money, which means even if NiP managed to win a round, you can see they've gone for double AWPs there, then they are going to be up against it straight away. And they're lacking in nades a little bit, having gone for the big green guns. And indeed, we will see 4 AWPs on the map at the same time, but can they make it pay off for them? I do wonder if they're going to go for the more aggressive angles. And indeed, this is the angle I was talking about. The CTs pretty much always get there before the Ts do, but Luminosity now with a change of approach, presumably because of the tactical pause.
Yeah, it's the alley play for them. Well, 3 players. They've left the bomb towards T-spawn, so just going to see what they can get done with this harassment. If they can get Fallen in a position to get a pick here. Obviously, the smoke's down, it's dissipated at this point, and double peaks coming in, grenades coming in. And the presence is now known. And this is a great adjustment from NiP with 2 AWPs, and there it is. That is why Forest is very capable, as already talked about, with that AWP, and he's going to be showing it, taking down the in-game leader of Luminosity. What is the response for them, though?
Nice counter flashes there through the smoke from Xizt over towards the IV area, but they're still trying to charge in. Taco probably going to drop his own flash through the smoke. Indeed, he will. And he's going to answer back. There goes Xizt, and that's going to cause a rotation from the B bomb site. But the bomb isn't in position to capitalize on that. Taco goes down now over towards IV, and there's a man advantage here for the CTs. They've got Forest in, just holding an angle there, and coldzera's going to walk straight into that face first. In fact, that's the bomb down as well. The last 2 players are very out of position. It might be about doing as much damage as possible, as fast as possible now. For taking risks, running into sight, can't do anything though, gives his position away. So FNX again, all that damage. They've got enough money to buy for round after round after round, and that is massive for Luminosity, even if FNX can't win a round, which you probably can't. Nice jumping there. Doesn't manage to finish off Get Right, but again, the damage has been done. Luminosity will have no issue buying again in the following round.
And speaking of issue buying, there's problems for NiP there because I'm sure they wanted to keep the double AWP setup going, but we can see right at the end there, they were not able to rescue the second AWP that went down. So the damage that FNX did could be actually pretty astronomical going forwards, because that, having Forest on that AWP in that previous round was really effective. Obviously, he picked up a lot of really key kills. Great game sense from him to pick those up. And now they're just down to pit on the AWP. So what does Luminosity's play? They're back to the double AWP. And it's so cool to see that they're going with this as their default. And you can see why. Fallen straight in there with a quick kill, almost getting a second one as he's forced to back away. But the damage has been done here. And Taco again, back to his shenanigans here. Takes an easy kill onto Get Right. This cannot happen for the Swedes. They're in such trouble right now.
Yeah, it seems that Luminosity have a hard read as to the B play, and only one man being there because Taco's exploiting it time and time again. And this is so important. He's got the other end of the B bomb site immediately. There is nowhere to hide here for NiP. They've been wiped out once more, and that is worst case scenario we mentioned earlier. They win one round, Luminosity can go for max pressure straight away. They lose the next round. They've been economically reset. This is disaster zone for NiP.
Yeah, I mean, they could realistically go up to 11 rounds, Luminosity that is, because it's going to be, NiP will get so few chances back in now because they need a double eco. They don't just need a double eco. We're talking don't buy anything type of eco, really. Like we can see a Xizt and a couple P250s in the smoke. That's an ambitious buy at this point, considering how poor their economy is. Of course, if some teams would decide to force up, but NiP are not going to do that in this situation, respecting Luminosity's ability to stop any damage there. And we'll get a fast play outside as the play of choice to deal with the ecoing NiP. Luminosity will know absolutely that they are going to be ecoing, so pretty easy situation for them to deal with. And the scary thing is that usually the weakness behind the double AWP setup is the fact that you lack mobility. That's one of the core weaknesses. But with AWPers like Cold and Fallen, that weakness does not appear to be a thing, because they can go ham, they can go aggressive, they can lead the way with 2 AWPs from those 2 points. But we'll see at least NiP salvage something in this round, and Pit's going to turn it into something more, converting to a second frag.
Bombs rotating over towards B, however. So NiP, they've got nothing to lose here. Well, I say that, they picked up an AWP and an AK, so now they have a decision to make, and it seems the decision will be to save. Obviously, they're in a situation where they would have to double eco, most likely. So these are very valuable weapons indeed. Curious to see what they choose to do in the next round. But it's interesting, obviously, in anti-eco situations, you'll often see somebody pick up a Max 10, for example, and just run in and be the guy to find out the information, see where the stack is. With the ranges, the AK will be infinitely more useful at the longer ranges. I'll cover more situations here. So they will leave one man to run into A and just die on his sword. And that's perfectly fine for Luminosity. Again, they're going to be surviving with 3 players. That's a plus for their economy. And there we go. That's the AWP down. And pyth doesn't have much HP to work with here. Nice slow picking there by FNX, and nobody survives for NiP again. There's nowhere that is safe on this map if you are Swedish right now.
Yeah, that's really sucks. I mean, they actually could have bought if they saved both of those guns. So back to echoing ways here. I mean, it becomes so marginal. This is kind of what I was talking about to some extent previously as well. You get into all these marginal spots where it's like we kind of want to buy, but we kind of can't, because it gets to a point where you realize that we just need rounds at this point. Even if we have a 30% chance to win the round with a worse buy, we're going to take that because we just need the rounds. But either way, NiP, they've done more with less. Let's see if they can take away some of these AWPs here from Luminosity. We've got Forest up close. Might just find FNX. Yes, there it is. Gets the kill, and he can steal away the AK. Positive result there. What else can they do?
They're scavenging, Dan, like beggars in Game of Thrones. Scavenging for the odd rotten apple. That one looks a bit healthier, though. Friberg spotting some plays. I like this flashbang, actually. Definitely stealing that one. Can he get the frag, though? Yes, he can. First one to get his bell run, followed up as well. Get right, just creeping there. And indeed, the ding-ding comes in. And we are in a difficult situation for Luminosity. Fallen looking to charge here. He's probably going to give up an AWP in this situation. He's got 3 more to find, though. And there is no Kevlar on any of these players. Going for the plant, putting the issue on the CTs. They're coming in numbers. Oh, he just let go of the plant just a second too short. Oh, that's really unfortunate for Fallen. The money is not going to be that much of an issue.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, he's
16k on Taco. That's pretty good. But yeah, I mean, that's a pretty sick result for NiP there. They actually survived a lot of players, picked up some guns, and what looked like a really terrible situation, they actually salvage it. They pick up the 5th round, which is good. And now they actually have an AWP as well, and a bit of extra cash in the bank for a rainy day as well. But they must convert. They can't keep winning a round and losing a round. It just doesn't work like that. So we're going to get this outside set piece coming in from Luminosity. A fast play, perhaps, has been working out for them. And definitely NiP are going to be conditioned to fear this at this point. But no, they're going to fake it and go to B.
Oh, and the rotation's coming in from Get Right. They're convinced it's the A bomb site. They have no idea. They're boosting Get Right up, but there's no sound, there's no flashbangs, there's nothing. And they've lost the B bomb site again, and guess who? It's Taco coming in from the back, of course. So the bomb site's been lost, and what is a decision of NiP? There's only so many rounds they can afford to lose here, but then their economy is in a terrible place as well. Fallen, interestingly, not going for the side plant, which we would see from Astralis in that situation, when they have complete control of the bomb site. Might as well go for the open plant there, so you can defend it from almost anywhere on the site itself. And again, it's a clearance operation now. The Luminosity removal service is in process. The van has the door wide open.
It is such a smart way to handle things from Luminosity. Again, like they conditioned the fear into NiP of those like super fast outside rounds with a few smokes. They throw the smokes just to make it look the same and then just go to B. And NiP are just so afraid of that A play that they bought it hook, line, and sinker. And then because of that, they lose the round. And we talked about they can't round that they can't afford to lose. Obviously, I think they had 2 players surviving with about $3K or something at the start of that last round. Yeah, so they can feel the buy here with the guns that they saved. But that is just great Counter-Strike here from Luminosity so far. We're seeing a great style of train from them that most teams that you're not going to see with any other team, and we're seeing great mind games going on too. And back with the double AWP now for NiP, but can they make that work for themselves? It was for previously Forest that delivered there for them with that last setup.
All right, so 4 AWPs once more. Forest going for the earliest peak again, but Luminosity have yet more strategy in their bag of tricks. Pitt going through the smoke. So he's in a good position to get some information and catch somebody off guard. And there it is, Fallen, the in-game leader, getting taken down. Let's see what he chooses to do with the rest of his men. Moving into the A site is FNX there. Down goes Friberg. No answer yet from the CTs. Xizt gone as well. There's a smoke down towards Connector, so this might be the player for the bomb. Forrest going for the high ground, but he needs support from his teammates.
Yeah, just not getting the frags here from these players in the defensive lines, but back together with the orbs seems to be working out. Forest picks up a frag as well, and that's going to make things quite difficult here for Luminosity, but they did put the bomb towards that B-bomb side instead, really just tricking NiP consistently, and we'll see the retake attempt. It has to come in now, but there is a lurker in towards the A-bomb side. This Fer, he's down to 16 points of health, but just his presence is so incredibly annoying, and maybe he'll get a kill as well. Damage onto pyth there. Very problematic. You can see how much he's delayed. There's still 2 players attending that only single man, just delaying them on that A side. This is wasting too much time.
They've got a side plant as well, which means that this time they can defend it from both sides of the site. And they've got plays on both sides, so this is an impossible task here for Forest & Co. And neither pyth nor Forest will save their weapons into the final round of the half. And again, the money's been absolutely wrecked here for NiP. This is not a good first game so far. Let's see what they managed to pick up in this round. Again, we've had FNX and Taco just charging into sites and just carving out holes here for Luminosity to fill with more NiP bodies. And we see there's 1 rifle here in the last round for NiP on pyth. So they do have the jumble sail by. They've got a bunch of grenades though, so perhaps they can use them to set up some choke points. To smoke off some choke points rather. Forest moving through the smoke towards drop again, but it's still another desperate situation here for NiP.
Yeah, it really is, and I just love how Luminosity have played this. They've been playing amazing Counter-Strike, and just the way that they've been using the double orbs has been just such a joy to watch. And it's not something you can't really copy this, because you have to be so good with an orb to actually pull this stuff off and make it actually consistent. So, well, we're going to see Luminosity playing against the jumble sail by, and NiP, they did win a round like this previously. Perhaps they can do it again. We've got Forest here in a forward position towards team main. Fallen, he's scoped up on the angle. Will Forest be able to get the shots first, though, or will Fallen? Such a battle of patience, neither of them knows. I
feel like NiP might have an idea of the game plan of Luminosity now. They're just waiting for them to overextend so they can open them up. So if NiP can be patient, then that's going to help them going into the next round. But how patient will Forest be? He's really being tested here by Fallen. Is he willing to strafe? Is he willing to hold down the A key? He is, and he's finally going to get punished for it. Such insane patience, and there we go. The train begins now into both sides here, but which one was it going to be here for the T's? pyth with a 2-man spray down, that's the bomb down as well. 20 seconds, maybe Luminosity waited too long.
Yeah, we got a couple players there for NiP. Have they done enough now? Just Friberg, he's just got to delay. He's got, as you say, 2 very weak players. That's the first frag. Can he get the second one? Yes, there it is. 1 bullet is all that's required for the last frag. And that's going to be the round. 6-9. I mean, it could have been a lot worse for NiP, all things considered. Getting 6 rounds there when in a first half, which looks completely dominant from Luminosity. That's definitely something, and they'll be very thankful for that. But they've got to try to convert it on this next half, and they must win the pistol round. And they don't have the best record in some of the pistol rounds these days, which is quite interesting. But Luminosity do feel like it feels like they have some good momentum despite that last round win.
That last round, the mind games were bananas, and that's going to be, even though Luminosity lost a round, I feel like that's going to just go in their favor going forward into this half, because the fact that they're willing to wait until there's 30 seconds left just to wait for one person to overextend and then just launch your strategy based off that kill is awesome. That's really fun to watch. So 9-6, as you can see there. Although it's definitely in favor of Luminosity, and Mousesports are not playing.
Indeed. We don't talk about Mousesports. So it's all on this one, really, for NiP. They've got to get this good start going for themselves. Get that pressure on straight away. Got the 2 smokes in. Let's see how they use those. That's going to be quite interesting. We've got the raid boss there, Tech9 and Kevlar for Get Right. And there is one of the first smokes, blocking off one of the first channels of vision. Got 1 available for Fer and Cold, but it's not going to really be helpful, and they're going to get pinned down here and hunted. It's just Fer in this position. He's going to get completely destroyed by multiple players from NiP. And now there's 4 versus 3 on the bomb site. Luminosity losing control here of this outer yard. They're trying to battle back in, but it's not quite working out.
Bomb is still to go down. Everyone's heavily tagged here, apart from Taco, but it all comes down to headshots at the end of the day. There is a kit onto the Luminosity side, so they can take their time just a little bit. Just needs to find some 1 versus 1s here. Try to avoid getting traded. Such a difficult map to retake A on as well. So many corners. You look away for the wrong time for 1 second, you're going to get taken down just like that. Pick going as well, though. And now it's a 3 versus 1, so this is almost impossible for Taco. He's going for the hero defuse here. He might have the health to do it. He needs to get into the smoke, but he won't be allowed by Friberg. Straight in the face there. That is an important pistol round for NiP.
Yep, Luminosity though, will they force buy? There are a team that definitely likes to do it and can very much do it. I mean, it's kind of crazy how consistently across the board their players were performing individually. Yes, a lot of, I mean, I think at the end of the first half, the top frag as well, it was 3 players. I think it was Taco, Cold, and Fallen all had 13 kills. But now we move into round 2 of the second half. And we've got a good buy, which is going to be very useful against these ecoing players of Luminosity, or the Kevlar-less players, I should say, because they have a Mag 7 on Taco here, but no Kevlar. Let's see if he gets something from this. It would be pretty big if he could. With the AK there as well, and on Xizt just waiting patiently for any aggression. NiP playing it by the book, but will the book be kind to them?
Which book is it?
The NiP book.
How many chapters are in the book, Dan?
I don't have a copy.
Well, maybe we can get one a bit later on. For the time being, NiP are going for the slow march over towards Ivy. And people might feel like when the bomb is shown over towards Ivy, it indicates an A play. You can go for the push through CT spawn as well, but that's a very rare push these days. So Luminosity may have a good read on the situation if they see it on the radar. Push coming in from NiP now, but there are many players from Luminosity on the A bomb site. The pot shots coming in, the 5-7 to take down Xizt to begin with, and that is a flurry of kills here. Man advantage goes the way of the Brazilians. They picked up an AK, but FNX has only got 2 HP. The bomb now making its way to the B bomb site, and it will be up to Friberg to keep people entertained. But it seems, oh, I like the rotation there. Through connector, into CT spawn, back towards A. And that has split up the CTs here, leaving FNX alone on the bomb site with 2 HP.
Yeah, Gerai's little play there has secured the bomb plant, which is very important. Now it's going to be interesting to see how this goes, because there's not really a big advantage here for NiP, because they're really weak on Gerai. He's got 9 HP, and all of a sudden we have the defuse forcing him out of his position. He's going to get the frag regardless. FNX is going to eliminate Gerai, but he's done enough there. He got the bomb plant, he got the frag, and now it's down to Friberg, who's going to be able to deal the damage to win the round, delivering the goods there for NiP. But that was supposed to be, I mean, I think 4 players had no Kevlar on Luminosity. Luminosity didn't have a massive buy there. For the amount of damage that they did, they're going to be very happy. Yeah,
they just had to man them down on the A bomb site, and it seems that NiP had enough rounds on their CT half to catch up to Luminosity here, as this round should look good for them. They've still got the SMGs in play as well, so they can go for those information plays that we saw Luminosity do in the first half, and such, so on and so forth. That Mag 10 especially will be very good as well in the close quarters corners around the A site, should they choose to venture over there. Luminosity trying to get a read on the situation and put the numbers in one place. And you see they've got an advanced position over towards Ivy. And maybe, well, I don't know, Fallen, I'm not sure if he's chosen to spot players. The P250 is not great even with headshots from that range. So maybe he's playing for information, although it seems that it's more likely he hasn't gone for a peek there. If he doesn't reveal his position and they go towards Ivy, then of course the one-shots will be real, potentially. So there's a very advanced position from one of the CTs over towards B as well, which is why Luminosity have 3 people in the A site, because they can get information fairly quickly, fairly early from coldzera. Sees Pit, but he misses a headshot there, starts spamming away, and there's basically no connection. Luminosity now moving into the B bomb site.
Yeah, looks like a pretty good take here for NiP. Should be able to get the bomb down without further issue. Able to deny some of the aggressors. Here is Forest with the fast play up the yard. And that is some easy frags. And no one dies. I think that's the first clean anti-eco we've seen from NiP. And That's an important one as we go 9-9 and the AWP comes into play for Fallen. There is a lack of utility, but will that matter? And this was what we were talking about too. Luminosity, they've got lots of cool little aggressions that they can do, especially around Ali and main, so look out for that.
Full buy onto both sides now. The AWP onto Fallen. Grenades have been sacrificed by the purchases in the previous rounds. So again, Fallen going for that early peek there in connector. There'll be no early engagement there from NiP. They've got 2 men going towards Ivy, and they're just taking their initial map control over towards the B bomb sites as well, where it seems Luminosity are choosing to put 2 people, maybe expecting NiP to try and exploit what Luminosity did, having somebody charge up upper, which was Taco, and take down one player who was there in isolation. So Luminosity will have the necessary support over towards B, but NiP are biding their time for the time being, maybe expecting some aggression from Luminosity. But they're pretty static as well, almost a straight line between both sites here for the Brazilians. A very standard setup, with exception of nobody peeking towards Ivy.
Well then, entry frags galore from pyth. He opens things up towards the pop dog area. Now NiP have control of the A site, although Cole is still in position. He's been spotted, and he will get finished off by pyth as well. 3 kills for pyth. He's going to single-handedly win this round for his team. Nice little fadeaway shot from Fallen, but I mean, if he can hold on to the AWP, he's going to be lucky. It definitely is in NiP's interest to hunt this down at the moment, but it's probably one of the hardest AWPs to hunt down. He's actually going to not hit that shot, but it doesn't matter. He's going to hit the follow-up. And there's only 3 T players left for the Swedish side at this point. Do they want to commit to this? Fallen's got a great position, so I don't like their chances right now in taking him down. Ooh, the pixel angles.
Yeah, it is a very key weapon for Luminosity going forward. Ooh, Taco just getting the save there onto for his team. So NiP take the lead now after a very difficult first half. And we see the struggles now with the CT economy. They are buying up though. We're seeing a scout coming out into coldzera. Got some FAMASs as well, or a FAMAS. There is another M4 on the floor here for Taco. So I wonder if NiP continue to have success, will we see more aggression from Luminosity? We saw some rounds where NiP chose to, on their CT side, take a main, for example, away from the Ts. But indeed, it seems, at least over towards A, Luminosity are content on being passive to begin with. But again, we've got Fallen going aggressive towards B, which allows them to get extra men in towards the A side. So it seems that's where the aggression will be here for Luminosity, just waiting for NiP to play into the strengths of the Brazilians.
And it's quite cool to see that Luminosity are taking it easy for now with these passive setups, because as noted before, they are known for liking those aggressive plays. Don't want to be too predictable. They've shown that they know when to throw them in, and that's the timing of it is always going to be the most important decision. Now we've got Fallen falling back there, sort of forced to do that as he gets pressured off the position. And right now Luminosity are none the wiser as to where NiP are really going. But there's 50 seconds left, so action has to start happening now. And it will. We've got NiP moving down Pop Dog, setting up the triple-pronged attack here. Pop Dog, T-Main, and Ali. Just waiting now for some of those smokes to go away, but they are starting to run low on time.
Yeah, and again, Luminosity still have 4 people over towards the A bomb site. They've got a player in connector in the position to rotate either way, but it seems they're banking on it being A. Fallen's coming in as well, so this should be a interesting situation for both teams. But Get Right's getting the frags there, 2 kills for him, and the CTs are disappearing despite having 5 people basically on the A site. They can't get the frags, but first coming back. The bomb's not down yet. They're attempting it. Can first stop it. There's not enough time. Exits just about gets it down. Still a man advantage now. Trace both teams, and it will be NiP taking it over the line there. 2 players surviving as well. And they went to pick up the AWP, but found a scout and didn't collect it. 2 rounds ahead now are the NiP side, and Luminosity are in an interesting situation economically.
Yeah, NiP had a really nice execution in the outside there of that aggressive play, and now, well, I mean, they definitely took their sweet time about it. That was a really slow round when all was said and done. They didn't get the bomb down until 10 seconds left, so really showing that they can put Luminosity through the paces, the fast, the slow, and the medium. Now it's a triple mag 7. You don't really see that every day. It's going to be very fun to see how that pans out for them, if it pans out at all. Now we've got Fallen there just waiting below Pop Dog. We've got Tacio on the corner, on the stairs here, up from the B-bomb site. And NiP, they're going to have to go close. They have shown that they throw pop flashes, but actually where Tacio's standing, the flash usually goes a bit further, so he might not even get flashed. So without a pop flash, you expect Tacio to get a kill here, and that's actually quite scary. There is no Kevlar on anybody. And here it is, Tacio only get one chance, and there he's going to hit the shot straight to the face. Pit goes down, can't get the frag. Fallen trying to make use of this distraction there, jumping up the ladder. Won't get a frag though. The damage has been done. And NiP are definitely going to be feeling it. And they're none the better for it. They haven't gained any position here. Tacio goes in for another one, but he won't get it this time.
Indeed, and there's flank attempts coming in here for the CT. Still a player on the site as well, so distraction can be run. FX trying to do damage, maiming to Blaze it. There goes Xizt being finished off. Only so many bullets though, but before he runs out, he will get taken down. So 2 plays left here for Luminosity. Probably going to go for it in the situation, I think. Going to be hard to get close though with that CZ. Friberg holding the angle, and indeed he will finish off the cleanup operation here for NiP. So again, after difficulties, the rough start on the CT side, they are enjoying the fruits of their labor on the T side. Double ops coming out again for Luminosity, but they need to change something up. They have a pause available to them as well, should they require one. And again, are we going to see a more aggressive Luminosity over towards A? We've seen aggression towards B to put extra players in A, but they've still been passive on A, and it hasn't worked for them.
Yeah, so it's going to be very, very fun to see how this double plays, because they still haven't thrown in aggression, but there's the peak, and you can't peek cold like that. Forest is going to go down, and an early round advantage for Luminosity. It's definitely going to be more, well, easier to deal with on the T side, losing a man early, but it's never going to be nice, and it could get worse for them now, because Fallen is on these angles as well as Cold. So NiP, they've got a decision to make. Either they decide to try to go and pick a player back and risk going 5 versus 3 against some of the best AWPers in the world, or their decision is going to be taking some map control with grenades and pushing as a unit and trying to trade into position. Those are the 2 main choices they have at this point, already a man down, so those are not easy choices to make. And it looks like they're just holding it statically at the moment.
50 seconds left here, and again the bomb's over towards Ivy. There are 2 players for the CTs in that area. Meanwhile, Get Right's getting taken down, so indeed it is the 5 versus 3 here. Smoke's coming in. Pit's got a 1 versus 1, and Fallen is going to put a stop to that. Bomb spotted as well, which means a full rotation coming in from the CTs. The flanks coming in to Xizt as well. He's over towards the popped up position. That's a 180 from Fallen. That is a bit ridiculous here, leaving Xizt alone. So Luminosity not out of this yet, looking good for double figures here. If they can survive with 5 players as well, definitely need to go back into the game. If they can survive with 5 players as well, then that's going to be a really good boon for their economy. Double peak coming in to try and ensure that Xizt can't do any damage. So 12 to 10 in favor of NiP. They are great for money. They've got 1 player on $10,000, so they'll have no issue buying in this round. The AK is coming out again. So the pressure will continue on to Luminosity, but surviving with 5 players is very key here for the CT side.
Yeah, it really is going to maintain the integrity of that economy, especially with the double AWP purchases that they really truly love to be going with. And you can see why. Picking up 2 frags, or rather, sorry, picking up all their frags pretty much with the 2 AWPs there, all the impact frags that last round. Definitely shows you some of the fearsome nature behind those massive guns in the hands of the Brazilians. But now Luminosity are going to start to feel a bit of pressure here much earlier into the round as NiP pick up the smoke grenades. They toss them in, and FNX is going to try to defend from this E-box position. So far, so good. 3 frags and flurry of kills going the way of the Brazilians now as they hold it down. It's just Forest and Friberg as they try to march their way into a bot plant, but it's not happening. Fallen with another shot to take down Forest, and the hopes with NiP as well with that bullet as they finally lose the round. Luminosity bouncing back with the AWPs.
And 12-12 might be on the cards here because NiP's money is now in a difficult situation. So they may not be able to afford a buy here. It would be a risk considering you've got Forrest and Friberg, who are quite limited on money, let alone Xizt, actually, who's only got a clean $2,000 here. So NiP starting to run into trouble. Luminosity had a great momentum in the first half. If that can continue here, then we'll see if that can tilt NiP over the edge. But for the time being, it seems they might be going for a fast play. Get right to lining up the pop flash in case anybody's holding close on B ramp. And it seems his team are going to charge in with that flash. So here it comes. Tacio, though, is holding off angle. The Molotov as well is going to be great for him to spray down. That is massive damage done there by the Brazilian. And again, it's fantastic for Luminosity's economy, surviving with all 5 players intact. That's really going to help for the rounds to come.
Yeah, 12-12. It's all equalized once again. NiP looked like they were coming straight back in, but again, Luminosity rearing their head with that double AWP play and showing exactly why it's so strong for them. Now as we go into the 25th round, this might go all the way between these two teams, unless, of course, NiP cannot find an answer for the AWP play. But on the T side, it should be easier to do that. You know, you can really restrict the AWPs with grenades, smoke grenades in particular. And this is what I talked about before. Fallen pushes these angles with the AWP. You don't see many people doing that because it's hard to fall back. He's got the support from Tacio there. He gets out of there in time, but it's going to be Third taking down Get Right towards team main. That's going to start to gut the offense before it can really get going with a push into the A bomb site, which did look like the objective. But now they're thinking about changing their plan, pulling people back from alley to collect the bomb.
Yeah, I do wonder if we're going to see an attempt at a older, perhaps more traditional, if you will, executing into one of these sides, but Fallen is not going to allow them to have the numbers to do so here. 5 versus 3 now, things slipping away again for the NiP side here on train. What do you do with 3 people with AKs versus 2 AWPers and 5 Luminosity players who definitely want to solidify their title as the best team in the world, with Fnatic hot on their heels here at ECS? It seems what remains of NiP in this round will head over towards the B bomb site here. They've got smokes and flashes, so can try to put in work here and smoke up the site. Some sound cues being given away here, and that's going to give time for a rotation to come in. There's a second play now moving in to be from Connector.
We've got Tacio waiting to receive them, and Fallen also waiting with that open. There goes another one. It's looking too easy right now, and he's forced to respond with a frag. It's a quick headshot, but that's all he's going to get as Fur eliminates him. And these AWPs, man, it's just Fallen, just picking them to pieces at the start of the round. That first frag there to make things really bad, going down to 3 players. Just consistently showing you why he's been given that title recently as maybe the best AWPer in the world, because just the fact that he can do this against top-level players, just peek them, and he's so fast on the shot as well, that he can get out of there even more quickly, back to safety. It's just such a problem. How do you deal with that kind of play if you don't know where it's coming? He can be everywhere.
So Luminosity around ahead now. NiP on the pistol Kevlar buy. Got a helmet here and there. But, well, they've got players deep into the A site, actually. They've got good potential for a split, but again, the bomb is coming in towards Ivy. Fallen trying to slow them down and move into a better position, and that's why he might be the best AWPer in the world. Trying to reduce his risk here, and FNX coming in for great support as usual, but we've got players close now, all being picked up, getting dropped again by pyth. Forrest now manages to collect it. 2 to find, but he can't get it done. And that damage is not going to be significant. You can see Tacio there with $10,000 in the bank. They needed the round, and they failed to get it.
Yeah, just 2 more now. Looks like it should be, at this point, sort of an easy path for Luminosity. Again, NiP struggling to deal with the AWPs, and I'm surprised we're not going to see, or we haven't really been seeing any, just fast, straight-up set pieces against the double AWPs. I mean, obviously that's one of the weaknesses to the AWPs. And so far, Luminosity have been showing all the classic weaknesses of AWPs. Doesn't quite so much apply to them, and that is why they choose to go with it and make it such a successful start of play. And Cold goes forwards there. The counter grenades are in, and the pre-flashes to stop him from getting a pick, and it works. He doesn't get a kill. He's stuck in a forward position. We've got frags being traded there as well. And Cold's still stuck in this forward position. Able to get out, though. The smoke is going to be able to provide ample cover as he's now to safety. And we're into a 4 versus 4. And Luminosity have 2 men per site, so there is a lot of chance here for NiP to actually finally manipulate rotation a little bit and maybe find an advantage into a bomb site.
2 players over towards B. And 2 players deep at the back of A means very limited information here from Luminosity. NiP still have a reasonable amount of time to play with, and they are going to use that time as much as possible. But they're in some situations over towards Pop, over towards Ivy, where there's only 1 player. They can't trade. And Luminosity, they want to fight on the sites, it seems. You see Cold holding the angle there towards Ivy. And now NiP start to play their hand, make their intentions known. We've got movements in various places over towards the A site. Fallen on the site itself now, just trying to play around these angles where he can retreat very fast indeed. Nice kill to Xizt there. No answer just yet. Get right going down as well, and the rest will be soon wiped up. And it's match point here for Luminosity versus an NiP who are going to have a difficult financial situation.
Fallen is so good. He is so good at this game. Some of those shots, man, he's just so confident in connecting them, and it's so quick. It's just unbelievable, the efficiency that he has there. And he's on 27 kills right now. He's top fragging on the server. Taco close behind with 24. Nice to see Taco up there. And, well, NiP are having to resort to a Galil, Tech 9, and 3 AKs with limited grenades. That's all they can scrap together. So it's time to make something work. We've got Taco up close there by B to maybe get something done with coldzera up top. This is the main defense right now. And their result here can obviously really turn the tide and
boom,
get a trade coming, and that's pretty big stuff. Although Taco, he just has to hold NiP off now. Goes in for the kill, gets 1. Bomb can go down now, but there are problems here for NiP.
Yeah, they've got an opportunity to plant a bomb, but maybe not the personnel. The Molotov is going to allow the flank to come in, actually, from, I think it might be Fallen there. There's Taco in flank, and he gets a 2nd kill and the 3rd one. So, Luminosity savage NiP towards the end of that 2nd half there. Very strong performance on train by the Brazilians. And it was a good comeback there from NiP. It looks like maybe the game was lost in the 1st half there, but they won the pistol. They won the pistol. That was really loud in my ears. They won the pistol, had some good momentum there, but then Luminosity, I think they took 7 rounds in a row towards the end, or is that even 8? 7? I think it's 7.
I mean, look, 16-12, I mean, it kind of sounds close, and some of the rounds kind of look close, but then there were so many rounds where Luminosity just walked over NiP, where either it's just the individual skill of the orbs, where they were just uncontested, going for these quick peaks, just with no flashes, nothing to really, like, it's seemingly NiP didn't expect it, and it would always catch them off guard, and then always they'd be in this bad position, then having to take big risks. Then the big risks would be met with, you know, obviously really skilled players of Luminosity, and it just went downhill repeatedly in those kinds of spots. So that they just got dominated. They just straight up got dominated. I would love to hear what NiP have to say about this matchup, because obviously it's a stylistic thing to a large extent. The double orbs, they are so good for Luminosity. I didn't expect it to be so crushing.
I think one of the important things, especially I think you saw a good example of it on when Fallen was over towards Ivy and moved back towards Train when he heard the players pushing through Ivy, is the support that FNX gives to Fallen when he's AWPing. I want to say FNX got 2 kills in that scenario, but you can see it over towards on overpass as well on their CT side. There's always really strong support for Fallen's AWPing. So if he is in a situation where he needs to pull back, but he can still hold multiple angles, then he's got a rifler in tow as well, and that makes things really good.
Yeah, their team play is really amazing. And one of the cool things about Luminosity is just the way that everybody's individual skill is just really started to flourish, and just it seems like the performances can get bigger and bigger as we go, you know, from if you look at when Luminosity really started to come up, obviously they had some lineup changes. If you look at you know, going into they got Taco going into the last FACEIT finals at DreamHack Winter, and they were still a super strategical team. Not to say that they aren't now, but now they understand as well how to play a really loose style and dynamic style to really maximize their individual skill and what they can do with it, on top of throwing in strategy and mind games when they need to, and that's so dangerous. That's why they're the best team in the world at the moment.
So Scoots and the boys are ready on the analysis desk to give you their thoughts on that match.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. We are here. We are going to break down that match. Again, started out kind of great for NiP. They won the first pistol. They won the next couple after it, kind of old school style. You know, you won the next two. And then it kind of went downhill a little for them on the first half. They brought it back second half. They won the second pistol as well. But again, they could not finish it out.
Yeah, I think it's really strange seeing NiP win both pistols after God knows how long. We were talking about how they are struggling with pistols, and I thought that that was going to give them a good start. It's going to be, you know, a much closer game for them, but LG managed to come back in both halves really well, and I think it was pretty obvious that both teams did their homework, so to speak.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, if you look at the scoreline of this game, it looks a little bit even, but in reality, it really wasn't. NiP won both pistols. The last three, NiP won 3 or 4 spies, I think, on their CT side, runs that they should not have won. I think overall on Luminosity side, they read NiP like an open book. You saw the fake smokes outside one round. Getrad instantly rotated. Luminosity had just free roam on that inner bomb site at all times, and the rounds that Getrad tried to actually defend that bomb site, he just ended up getting shut down. Like Talk on that T side was just amazing.
All right, Yanko, you're going to do your kind of quasi-weatherman work for us. We're not going to make you walk anywhere because, you know, you're getting a little older.
Or draw.
You're getting a little older. Or draw,
I can't
draw. But we do have some rounds you want to break down for us. Why don't you walk us through what you got?
It's what Robin just mentioned briefly. And the fact that I think LG had a pretty good read on how NiP likes to play, and this is something that happened in the second gun round. In the first gun round, Fallen just got 2 entry kills with the op. NiP saved their guns, so in the second gun round, that was super important. The round that followed that, you could see how LG just baited a reaction from NiP, so to speak, and we can start playing it right now, the first replay. You can see how they're just throwing a Molotov, and that smoke towards mid is theirs as well to force the 4th player on NiP, which is Friberg, to go towards the A bomb site, and Taco just runs through fire. And he wouldn't do this if he didn't know how Getrad likes to play B, right? He probably knows that because he threw the smoke immediately, he threw the molly on upper, he probably predicts that he just wants to buy time and that he won't look towards the upper ramp. So he just runs out and gets a free kill and basically a free round for LG right there, which forces NiP into a force buy. They lose that, then they have to eco, and that gives control to LG over the first half, basically.
Yeah, and in the beginning of that half as well, you saw that Getrad just getting picked apart every single round. And what happens is when you notice yourself is like, I can't hold this bomb site anymore, you end up playing a lot more passive. And just LG, after that first round, they didn't notice, so they're not even holding inner anymore. They just instant rotates. Then you saw at later stages of the half, they just ended up pushing in inner, and they just got that bomb site completely.
The same thing happened after NiP won their first gun round, so the first round after the initial 3 rounds, they did basically the same thing, just that Fallen went down ladder room, he got a kill, and Taco again just runs out upper, kills Getrad again, and we have the example of the fake round that you also pointed out. Now here it's a good example of something that's pretty general. It's why would you ever rotate a player if NiP doesn't even see anyone outside? There's no no frags were exchanged yet. So in my opinion, as the sole B player, until you see the bomb moving forward to the A bomb site, there's no reason for you to move, because if you do move and it turns out it's a fake, you gave up the whole bomb site and they can move forward. So now we can play that out as well. Okay, so we have some issues, but yeah, I mean, everyone saw it. Yes, there were a lot of smokes going out, but still, it's pretty easy to do a fake like that. If the CTs aren't playing close, they have no info, and if you have no info, then you can't really rotate. You're rotating blindly, and that's what can, backfire, and it really did backfire for NiP in that round.
Yeah, I mean, you saw that just NiP, or throughout that first half, just taking a lot of gambles that really didn't pay off. Like Luminosity just had their way. Pretty much every single time, and yeah, like Yank was saying, when you have the smoke round outside, then you don't rotate. You leave one person in just in case. So maybe Getrad ends up getting 1 or 2 there, and then he falls. That's still fine, because then you can still try and retake it. Instead, he just ends up rotating. You leave, and Taco was actually more in CT spawn, I think, than he was in T spawn. Every single time they pushed inside, he did the same extra direction. He just ran through that through the right side train in towards CT spawn, and kept on doing that. And then forget why not take a gamble then from NiP, right? Put 2 guys in there, maybe do a push for 1 round with mag 7s or even M4s, have one in the back. You never saw that. Instead, you just saw, well, let's just take a gamble. If they do decide to go in there, we're just going to save our weapons and just hope that we win the next round, rather than let's fight it, see what happens. And then, yeah, even if we lose, yeah, we might have to be on a save, but you might have actually ended up winning a lot more rounds that way.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Well, we have picked our Jason Bourne player of the match, or man of the match, however you want to call it. That movie's going to be in theaters July 29th. And again, it's going to be Fallen. Here he is. Here's some highlights. There's Jason Bourne, too. I
mean, it's the player we picked out before the game.
Yeah.
You can see how impactful he can be with the AWP. Even his close range, long range, flick shots and everything. NiP had a great start in the second half. They were up 6-0, and you could see them as well, you know, with some it's not really anti-stratting, just, you know, keeping a mind on what LG likes to do, throwing that smoke towards upper ramp to prevent Fallen from going for those aggressive picks. But I think that at one point, NiP thought that they did enough to push LG back. So, but still, you could see Fallen pushing upper B towards the stairs. You could see them being aggressive towards Ivy, and in the end, they managed to get the control of the half together and close the map.
So just an overall question on Train, right? Again, we talked about it in the green room. It was one of my favorite maps back in 1.6, but it also was a notoriously CT-sided map, right? You wanted to start on that side. You wanted to get your momentum locked down. We're not seeing that so much in CSGO. Curious as to why. Is it, obviously it's a slightly different map, they've tweaked some stuff, but is it a combination of the map or the game engine, the guns are different, the money's different slightly, all those things? What's making it, obviously now, well, kind of a little bit more T-sided or certainly more even?
No, I think that the main issue is that they have moved the bomb site, right?
Okay.
You have a lot easier time to just go out, do the smoke round, and get the bomb down, and just play all the corners. I think that's the main issue or main difference that you have between this one and the Formula 1. Sure, they swapped some locations on the trains as well, and it just gave you more freedom and I guess more ways of actually going in towards the bomb site, but I think, or getting in towards that, like the map area, right?
Yeah.
But I think that overall, I think that just changing where the bomb is supposed to be planted just did so much for that map.
And also, I think it's easier to create chaos, especially on that outer bomb site. And in my opinion, it will always favor the Ts, right? Running through those smokes, flashing themselves in, and it can be too much for CTs to handle.
And certainly the game engine itself helps, because smokes in 1.6 were nowhere near as effective as they are.
No, but even on the old
CSGO
train, it was still very CT-sided.
Yeah, very.
And it just you just get so much space to fall back, right? Like here, if they end up doing an outside push with smokes or whatever, you have nowhere to go. You can fall back to seat spawn where you normally have, but you know, you leave the whole bomb site. You have to fight, and that just creates, like Janko was saying, so much chaos, and it normally benefits the Ts.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. That's going to wrap it up for our segment, but we're not done talking about this team. Smix is in the Twitch lounge, and she's got Fallen. Take it away, Sue.
Thank you very much, Scott. First of all, congratulations, Fallen. It always feels great to kick off a tournament with the first win. So first of all, I don't know if you were watching, but earlier we just mentioned that you are the Jason Bourne MVP of the match, so that has to feel pretty good.
Yeah, that feels awesome. Hello for everyone. Feels amazing to be one of the best in the match. There was a super difficult match. They won both pistols, so I'm glad we could win the first match.
And despite NiP winning both pistols, which is interesting since they historically struggle with that, it did feel that overall you guys felt very dominant in that series. So coming into that match, was there any special preparation that you guys did, or was it just you guys playing your game?
Yeah, being honest, there was no specific preparation to play NiP. It's not that we went to truth demos or tried to strat them. We didn't know where to win to play train, being honest. But as I said, despite losing both pistols, we have a very strong T side after losing the first 3 rounds. And then everything was going our way. We were getting the picks. Taco was having a good match. Me and coldzera having good picks with the PST as well. So we played a good match, in my opinion.
Now, after E-League, you guys have had some time off. So what has that time off been like? I know by time off, it's still not time off. You guys have been practicing a lot. But how has that practice been looking like, and how is your team feeling condition-wise headed into this tournament?
Yeah, being honest, this first match was kind of a test for us because we went to Vegas for 1 week, kind of vacation for us. And then on the next 2 weeks before coming here, we didn't have too much practice because NA teams are not practicing too much right now. I remember they're playing another tournaments, like Opti went to play the qualifier for Major, and then you have the other Brazilian team, the Immortals, they were playing other tournaments as well, DreamHack. So those 2 weeks were very messy for us. We didn't practice too much because we just couldn't. There were no teams to play against. So we just tried to be on form, trying to play our daily death matches, this kind of things. But this first match, we didn't know how it was going to be because of that. But it feels good that we showed a great form.
Yeah, you definitely showed great form, and your next match is going to be either GT or Liquid, and that's interesting because G2, you guys had a very close finals, 3-2 against them at the ESL Pro League finals, and then on the other side, we do have a sort of revamped-looking Liquid with Simple and JDM. So what are your thoughts on that potential matchup?
Yeah, I think this match is going to be great. You guys should watch it. I'm going to watch for sure. Liquid seems to be very strong. I have been talking to some other teams and actually had a conversation with Dan as well. They're playing super well in the practice at least. And they have so much potential in this lineup. They have great players. And if they have the right chemistry, they can beat Astralis and... It's not Astralis, right? It's G2, sorry. Yeah, they can beat G2 and be on the upper finals. But G2 is always a strong team. And if Shox and Screen is going to continue playing like they are, I think it's going to be very difficult for Liquid, but they have a good chance. And despite, I don't know, well, let's see who's going to win. It's going to be good to watch.
Sounds good. Well, thank you very much, Fallen, and congratulations again. Of course, we will be headed to a short commercial break, but as Fallen just mentioned, stay tuned, as the next match will be G2 versus Liquid. Thank you.
I'm a streamer on Twitch, full-time streamer on Twitch.